go by so fast. Well, there goes Tatty Tats. Everybody's neck goes spastic. What's up, Poker Cat? You look fanny pack-tastic. The Amazon's so lively. I'm looking out for Ivy. You stake me in the main. I'll sell some pieces. Someone buy me. Everyone knows that this time is special. No one can tell you why. Let's go colluding. Suicide super satellites. Sell some jars in the hole by the bathroom lights. Just like some tricks, $3 he can eat tonight. World Series love. Man, I can't wait to go. Sunflower on ESPN. How could you catch the chance for the seniors event? Santana Butters, the six of the hour. World Series love. Man, I can't wait to go. Man, I can't wait to go.
What is up, Sherry? Good morning. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. I was getting a little worried that maybe you were still on the felt and that I might need to start a space.
maybe I might need to start it. You never know.
Well, you are in Vegas and,
Might get
crazy
caught
things
in a
happen.
game.
Yeah. Crazier things have happened.
Might be walking home after, I don't know. Who knows?
Exactly.
Anyway. So day 25, let's go through the schedule. We'll do the updates.
Sure.
We can get to comments, questions,
Got all kinds
whatever
of
everybody wants to talk about.
And you'll be happy to know that I even looked up the win in the Venetian this morning because I got up extra early because I couldn't sleep no more.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. So 10 a.m. day 2 is going to be day 2. The field's going to combine on day 2 of the seniors event, the $1,000 no limit seniors event. Pretty big field. We'll get to that in a little bit. With our buddy Alan Kessler surviving with a stack into day 2. Yep. And then day 1 A of the Millionaire Maker $1,500 buy-in also gets kicked off at 10. Day 2 of the tag team gets kicked off at noon, the $1,000 no limit tag team event. And then 1 o'clock is the $2,500 mixed limit triple draw low ball day 2. Day 3 of the 10K PLO championship gets kicked off at 2 p.m., getting deep into that. And then also at 2 p.m. is day 1 of the 10K horse.
Awesome. Lots of fun poker to be had today. Event number 43 was the 50,000 Poker Players Championship. And yesterday, we made it down, of course, to the final table, and the winner, Brian Rast, was the overall winner, taking home that Covenant bracelet and $1.3 million. Tall
And maybe more important. Well, nothing's more important than the cash and the bracelet, but Alan Kessler's opinion was that this solidifies Brian Rast's
Hall of Fame. Well, it certainly could.
Interesting. Yeah.
And he went heads up with Shekachir. Is it Shaker Chai of the UK?
Sounds good.
And he was able to take home $818,000. Notable at number 6 spot of overall winners was Phil Ivey, who's going to take home 228, just over that thousand. Any comments on that?
Yeah, obviously disappointing for Phil, and I would say this field pretty much everybody's notable. Somebody that's been there before. I mean, even Tatal, like the guy has 12 million in career earnings, so
right.
Almost 13 million. So not too shabby.
Right. Well, we don't expect less than 50K, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Although if you're playing 50Ks, you better have millions in earnings, right?
Right on. So moving on to event 47, the $1,500 horse event. Started out.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
event 44, the 3K no limit, right?
I thought that had ended before yesterday.
That, I don't know. I still have it on here. Maybe.
I went back and checked it, so I'm just going to say
Okay.
that those should have been
We'll
reported
trust you
yesterday,
there.
and
We'll trust you.
this lax reporter wasn't on duty yesterday. So there you go. But on to event 47 is the $1,500 horse event. Started out with 836 horses. 260 remain with Yuri. Here we go. Zielinski, maybe of Brazil. He wait, why do I have 260 remaining? Actually, that was the final table yesterday, and he took home the first place prize of 207,000 and the gold bracelet. Sorry about that error.
Yeah, this is his second bracelet and 5 million in career earnings. So,
and he went heads up with Randy Ohel of the U.S., who took home 128,000. So, congratulations to both of them.
Former Poker Stars ambassador. So go ahead.
No worries. Event 48, the $1,000 seniors event, was day 1B was yesterday. Day 1A was the day before, of course. The numbers on the website are fudged, so I don't really want to give out any numbers on those two events yet because it just doesn't seem like it's updated correctly. So
you mean the total buy-ins?
Well, the total buy-ins was to be determined, and then the amount remaining is the same amount from yesterday remaining. So I'm just going to say we're just not going to say it because I don't think the information is accurate. But I will say, and of course I would have said something yesterday about this, but the chip leader on day 1A was Skeleton Man Harrington, who I've had the pleasure of seeing through my camera lens, and he's quite a character of poker, and I always enjoy taking his picture. But in first place on chip stacks for day 1B was Joseph Workman with 510,000 in chips. Francisco Corellis is not too far behind with 508,500 in chips. So lots of poker to be had as they go into day 2.
Yeah, I don't have Alan's chip count, but 221,000, I think, for Dan. What is it?
Harrington?
No,
Dan.
High Miller.
High Miller.
Mark Safe with 335,000. Let me see here. Yeah, Dan. I'm missing it here. Anyway, that's fine. Go ahead. I was looking for Alan's, but
on to event number 50, $10,000 pot limit Omaha Championship. At the end of day 2, there are 42 remaining out of 731. Dimitar Danchiv of Bulgaria has 3.7 million. Sam Soverall of the U.S. has 2,034,000. And pardon me. There is a 1.3 million at the top, as well as that gold bracelet for that tournament. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, my buddy was playing this. I wonder how he did, Ryan LaPlante. Don't see him, so maybe that's not such a good sign.
Well, I think the key words there was my buddy, because we know how your lucky charm is working right now.
Now we hear the truth. Now we hear the truth there.
You know I gotta make fun of that. Oh.
Yeah. So that. I mean, I think he has a bracelet in this event. Ryan does. So at least in PLO, I don't know if it was the 10K.
Okay.
But
he's such a great player.
But he is a good player. So hopefully he's still in there. I didn't see. So a lot of big names in this, and obviously going to be coming back to that and whittling that final 42 down.
Right.
Um,
So
so
looking at event number 51, the $1,000 tag team event had 1,282 entries, 252 remain. I On some of the reporting, it only has one person's name, not the both
yeah,
people and
Jeff
team members' name.
Stellwagen in 12th place with 209,000.
Okay, so we're going to go into first place with Mark Evangelista, and his partner, which I don't know the name of because it's not posted, has 552,000 in chips and is our chip leader. Kenneth Gallo and his partner have 382,000. Richard Alley is in third place with his partner at 325,500. And tied for third place is Amber Donatelli and Marcus Stein with the same amount of chips. And then if I look down at at number seventh in chip stacks, Jesse Sylvia and Ashley Sleeth have 281,500 in chips. And, it's just nice to see some ladies at the top of the chip stacks with their partners. So, any more comments about
Yeah,
that?
it's weird how they don't list like the other teammates here. Who do you know who Jeff's playing with there, Sherry?
No,
Oh, okay.
no,
Interesting.
I don't know.
Yeah,
And I
12.
think it's just when they register for the team, they just didn't write it up, or maybe the person putting it in the computer didn't think to put both names, because some of them have both team member names and some don't. So I don't know what the deal is there, but anyway.
Well, I know who Jeff's person is, but I think that he's gonna be flying solo today. I hear. So
Yeah,
anyway,
that's what I heard. So
let
let's keep moving along. Event number 52
let's go on.
has
Event
52
number 52.
has is the $2,500 mixed triple draw low ball.
Um,
Had 353 entries. There's 145 remaining.
and stick with us, Bobby. Make sure you request and whatever. We're going to get to questions, comments, and all that in a moment.
We
So
tried to
go ahead.
get all this technical
Yeah,
stuff out of the way first, so we could just
yeah,
get it out of the way,
yeah.
and then we'll open it up the mics. Bobby, don't be
We're
offended.
almost there. We're almost
Yeah.
there.
Event number 52 was the $2,500 mixed triple draw low ball event. It had 353 entries, 145 remain. Marco Johnson is at the top of the heap of chips with 228,500 in chips. Nacho Barbero of Argentina, excuse me, has 216,500 in chips. Max Coleman in third has 210,500. Brian Micon has 208,000 in chips. And don't forget, Brian is the guy that at the very beginning of the WSOP made a video recommending that all of us hand Kevin Mathers a $100 bill as a tip for all the hard work he does on our behalf. So that is Brian Mycon in fourth place
Yeah,
in
and
chipsticks.
I want to say Marco Johnson. We went by him. 2 WSOP bracelets, almost 4 million in career earnings, 6 cashes this year at the WSOP so far, with one final table. So hopefully he can add to his bracelet total in this event.
Well, and good luck to him. Um, Now looking at the player of the year numbers, they did have a little bit of movement, although Ian Matakis is still in first place. He had 2,689.52 in points, and now he has 2,914.73 in points. Michael Rodriguez stayed in second place with the same point count. So did Sean Deeb and Christopher Brewer. And it looks like, you know who moved up on the list is Josh Aria. Josh moved from 11th place to 6th place. So he has 2,173.70 in points.
Yeah, he was
I'm
making a
trying to
deep
see.
run there in the I think PLO, or I can't remember which event. But anyway, I
Well,
was
and
expecting to
the
see him jump up
the
there.
the other person that moved up to 13th place was David O.D. Baker, who has 1,805.34 in points. So there's your Player of the Year point update.
Yeah, David coming back from what was it, one or two bets in the
Yeah,
Raz when
it
I
was
sat there and
one.
watched. I was like, oh
It,
my gosh,
I think it was one bet. I'm
one
pretty
bet,
sure it was one bet. But anyway,
crazy.
the other announcement I'm going to make real quick, just because I think we should probably do it more than once, is the celebration of the life and legend of Doyle Brunson will be held on July 2nd at 12 p.m. at the Horseshoe Jubilee Theater. The doors open at 11:30. First come, first serve on seating. No word as of yet if it'll be televised live or even a replay or at all. I looked it up, there's over 1,160 seats in the Jubilee Theater, and it has two levels, which I did not think that was very many seats. So, get there early would be my suggestion. So there you go. Thank you.
Wolf, good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, do we want to go through the other tournaments before we?
Let's do that. That's cool.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. And the other thing, I kind of wanted to give a shout out to Jimmy Bluffett, or as many know him, the Mod Father. He put up a tweet a few moments ago that he got some bad news about his dad. So keep his dad, and of course Jimmy, and their family in your prayers, please. On to Resorts World. Another side note. I know yesterday we talked about how many people were in the seniors event because Alan was talking about, I don't know if he was doing an over or under or something. I was having a hard time hearing you yesterday on the phone, but I said I would look up the entries for last year's seniors event, had 7,188 entries, and Eric Smidinger actually won it for 694,000, and our girl Kathy Liebert came in fifth place for 186,000. So there's that info that you were referring to yesterday. Resorts World today has a tournament at 12:05 p.m. $200 no limit, 10K guarantee. Sahara has a 12:10 p.m. $60 no limit daily, $500 guarantee. A 4 p.m. 700. I'm sorry, a 4 p.m. $75 crazy pineapple tournament for a $500 guarantee. I wish I was in town. I would definitely be playing that. At 8:30 tonight, Sahara will have a $75 no limit, $500 guarantee. The Win has a 12 p.m. $1,100 Omaha 8 with a 50K guarantee. South Point has a 10:05 a.m. $60 no limit 4K guarantee, a 2:05 p.m. $60 turbo $1,500 guarantee, a 6:05 $100 bounty 10K guarantee, a 10:05 p.m. $60 turbo $1,500 guarantee. The Aria has a $600 no limit 75K guarantee. The Venetian has an 11:10 a.m. $2,500 deep stack with a 100K guarantee. The Gold Nugget has a 10 a.m. seniors event, $400 buy-in, $100,000 K guarantee. 11 a.m. day 1A, no limit championship at the Nugget with a $500 guarantee. A 3 p.m. easy for me to say, a 3 p.m. daily deep stack, $200 buy-in with a 25K guarantee. A 7 p.m. $130 nightly with a 5K guarantee. Last but not least, the Orleans has 11 a.m. $300 no limit main event. Day 1C has a $250,000 guarantee. At 7 p.m. will be the day 1D of the same event. Thank you very much. Go ahead.
Dang, you got through there. Wolf, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, Wolf.
If you're still awake there. If
Hello,
you're like
Wolf.
me, you're clicking at the microphone button. By the way, when I kicked this thing off, Sherry, that's why I had to do it like 2 or 3 times, because I kept clicking the mic button and it wasn't going anywhere. So yeah.
Well, and then I was worried because there's been sort of some issues with Twitter the last 24 hours. So, okay, I guess Wolfie
I,
doesn't
I
want to
wanted
speak
to,
with us.
I now I don't know how you'll feel about this, Sherry, but I wanted to invite PPE up here to tell us, like, it seemed like he had an early night last night. You're
Uh,
suspiciously missing there, my friend. I'm
or
just
was
kidding.
he? Or was he?
I just love, I just love how everybody's like, "Where is PPE?" He's somewhere
Oh,
here floating around.
I am
That's just too
happy to
fun.
say I went to sleep and I had some great Z's last night, and it was a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't wish bad on anybody. Certainly, whatever. But not exactly shocked. It was kind of bizarre to me how shocked people seem to be.
Right. I'm going to
Yeah.
carry the show for a minute. I want to post a picture to talk about. I'll be
Oh,
right back.
okay. All right. So, what am I supposed to carry the show and say though, Sherry? And Wolf isn't here. Necky's not coming up. So today, oh well, I guess I can tell about yesterday. It's disaster. Um, I won't tell bad beat stories. So I guess I just don't know how
Now you
to.
can, we'll allow the bad beat story so that you'll have some
Well,
time to
let's
vet.
just say that somebody called off 18 bigs with 9-10 off.
Okay, first of all, who was your partner again?
Dutch Boyd.
Okay, Dutch boy. Okay, I just wanted
Yeah,
everybody to,
we
be
were we
reminded.
were we were floating along, doing all right, and I can't remember. Um, he got into a tough spot on the river. A guy jammed on him, and I mean, pretty obvious that his hand's no good at that point. But
Unfortunate.
I think he was ahead as the money was going in, and and then got rivered pretty obviously.
And so,
And
what level did you guys go out? I'm sorry to say that you did.
It was 200, 400.
Okay.
So kind of early, not early-ish, I guess. Got
All
it in
right.
with
Yeah.
Ace
Right.
King.
Right. Right.
Got it in with Ace King, 18 bigs against 9-10 off.
Wow. There's always one of those,
So,
isn't there? There's
yeah.
always one of those. Well, I'm just going to put this out there. If Dutch Boy needs a new partner next year, I am available.
I think he does. He might need a new partner. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm
Am
just
I in
messing with you.
mid-season form? No, no. If I'm honest.
Look, I don't even know who played what or did what. So trust me, I am just poking at you this morning and trying to have some fun.
Oh no.
Unfortunately, it didn't go well for you guys and I hate it for you, but
And for me, poker is fun. It's a tough way to make an easy living if you're planning
right
on
on.
doing that. People see all these, like, people that they think are enormously profitable and that kind of thing. It's like the year Daniel like won I think he won like $1 million buy-in or one of the big ones, and then
Right.
you look and it's like, if you take that out, he's net negative for the year.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
and he's maybe 100K positive. So it's easy to say, like, and then thinking about just like, if you're planning on traveling the circuit and that kind of stuff, like all the costs that go along with that, so I think that it's best for poker to be something that you do for fun. Doesn't mean that
Right.
you don't take the game seriously. Doesn't mean that you don't try to play at a high or elite level. But, like, the idea that you're going to quit your job and go play poker for a living, for any, like, substantial amount of money. I mean,
Right.
I've always thought probably in retirement I'll make a few bucks doing
Yeah,
it.
but that's if you're local. If you have a casino, like in my case, my closest card room, legal card room, is 3 hours away. And
Yeah,
so when I go to play, I'm already I'm already down X amount of hundreds of dollars for gas and a place to stay, unless I can go to a casino that I have comps at, right? And so
right.
I'm already down several $100s before I've played one hand of poker. And when I look at my winnings, I take expenses off the top. And so some people do it that way, some don't. I do because I feel like it all matters, right? Excuse me. And
Yeah,
it helps with accountability for what you're doing. But, you know, people will say, well, why do you do it this way? And I go, well, I'm spending several $100s to be at this tournament before I play one hand of poker. And I have to be conscious of that. And, that means I have to place somewhere in the money just to, take care of my expenses, not including my buy-in. But anyway, the other thing I wanted to mention was that picture I posted. If everybody wants to take a look at that picture, I posted it in the chat. And the reason I posted it there because a few reasons. One, I think it's an amazing picture because so many people are in it, and it's just a great celebration of that winner. But I want you to pay close attention to where I have circled. There is a guy there that's like sprawled out, celebrating this great win. And unfortunately, his hand is right in the face of somebody else. So we don't know who that person is. He's covering up their face. So I say to you, if you're going to be in a picture, don't do that. Like, let that person shine too.
yeah, and I always jump in the bracelet picture. I went ahead and pinned that to the
I
to the
just think
space as
I
well.
just thought it was so funny because how mad is that person going to be this morning or whenever that picture was
Well, and
posted to
and
see their face covered?
most importantly, know the rules of being on the rail, Sherry. Like if your buddy is running deep, okay, and they're like almost gonna win, almost is not done. So keep your mouth shut. Don't talk about the bracelet.
Yeah,
Like
don't jinx them.
just like zip it. Once they're putting on the bracelet, then you can talk about it all you want. But until
Right.
that point, like zip it. Like that's worse than my dad cheering on the turn. So ASG, good morning. Sorry it took so long to get to you, my friend.
Yeah, no problem. Maybe I missed some things, but like, why are you surprised that people are surprised?
I just think there's been a lot of things like what people don't realize. Like people were trying to come up with like, did Daniel call or did this person call or that kind of thing, and the reality is these people are in the poker community. I mean, like Matt Savage is on the spaces every night. Like he's not involved at the World Series, but that gives you an indication of like people in the community are aware of what's going on. So it's like, I mean,
Yeah,
I
but
don't,
I
I
think it's very surprise. We still
like
don't
if
know
we
what
were
has happened
if
in
we
any other casino yet, but
yeah
I
let
think
me
it's very shocking if they were, or if anybody. I don't think that's what happened. I still think it might involve some other casino thing, but
yeah,
uh,
could be.
Okay.
I
I
still
agree with
don't
that.
know like how Eden would have done anything to constitute getting 86th from all Caesar's
Okay.
properties.
All right. Let me just say something because, first of all, the first time he was on the rail, he had to be asked twice to leave the area because he was too loud. Then he was on
Yeah,
the
that's
rail for the two.
ridiculous. Continue.
Then he was on the rail for the 200 or the $250,000 tournament. Again, he was asked to leave. He came to the rail when Veronica and who was making the run? Deebs, right? It was when Deebs was, and people asked him to leave. Like they didn't want him around at that point. And then he's playing cash, and he's asked to leave the table and move or whatever. I don't know all the details, but he was asked to come off that table. at that, when he was asked when he had the bottle of champagne or whatever that he was drinking out of at that
Yeah, and he
TV
wasn't all
table.
that crazy.
Well,
He
but no, listen to what I'm
then,
saying. Let
but
me
yeah,
finish. Let me
go ahead.
finish. Two female guards came to, escort him away. There was no confrontation whatsoever. But after that, he said he could come back tomorrow. So to me, that meant they told him, you got to leave and you can't come back till tomorrow. So to me, that's a 12 or 24-hour ban. Now, I could have that all wrong, but he has said that several times that, they said I could come back tomorrow. Okay. I'm not saying any of this warrants to be banned, for however long. And I don't even know if he knows how long. They may have say a
I
month or 3 months or 6 months, but there are several things that add up to we've had enough
well,
because we've had to have security address you several times.
yeah, and
I don't think any of that adds up to being 86 from all
Well,
Caesar's properties, or
well,
actually, I don't, and it definitely doesn't add. I mean, like, it doesn't add up to that, and it definitely doesn't add up to not being able to play in a tournament.
but if that goes on top of him already being 86th from a property, I think that has, and
yeah,
he said he's been 86th from other properties in
is it?
California.
I
So I
by
don't,
the way, ASG, I totally get the idea that if this was Daniel Negreanu, if this was really even, I don't even think it takes that. If it's somebody that's like, buying into a lot of tournaments and things like that, like there's, is it fair? Like there's different thresholds. I'm just saying, I'm not surprised. It's not like, and the other thing that's important is I've been very hesitant because I don't want to like drag the guy. Like I don't want to say bad things about him. I really try not to. He said some really negative things about people that I like, and so does that make me like him? No, but like, I don't wish bad. I don't think that it's necessarily great that he got kicked out of there. Like it's not
I'm
like I'm
going to tell
jumping
you,
up and down.
look, I'm going to tell you right
I'm
now,
just not surprised.
just like I think it is wrong for people to suggest that somebody, that Martin be excluded from any high roller tournaments, but he could play low level tournaments. I think that's wrong because if you're going to ban him from the high rollers, he should be banned across the board or nothing. In this case, same thing. If somebody with influence has the power to ban somebody, that's terrible. It's unacceptable. It should not be done. Plain and simple. But we can't accuse anybody of that when we see some things that have been happening that security has to have, be called in to handle several things. At what point is it okay for Caesars to say, we've had enough?
I
I
do
mean,
I
at
do
what
want
point?
I do want to say too, Sherry, is that I've talked to the people at the World Series about they brought up my friend Sam Pazika last night, and Sam was at a final table. And if you've ever been at the tapings of the final table in the crowd, it's a really interesting environment, right? Because you're sitting there, it's like no other tournament, right? Like family members are there that like know nothing about poker. They're there like seeing their seeing everybody next to them as people that are maybe going to take away millions of dollars from from their family member that they care about. So it's kind of a weird environment. And so Sam's whispering to not whispering, he's drunk, whatever, but he's not like loud or whatever. He just says to his friend next to him something about like he tried to make a joke about like bringing an AK, like kind of like making a pun on words between like ace king and like an AK, right? And
Right.
so these people next to him heard, and next thing you know, there's this kind of like scuffle, not like physical or anything, but just some words exchanged or whatever. So those people go up, they tell security that he said this, and he's banned. So I talked to the people at the World Series after years. Like this guy's been banned for like probably 10 years now. Probably 5, 6 years ago, I talked to the people at the World Series. I said, we all know Sam. Like, Sam, this is a joke. He's a smart ass. He had a few too many to drink, this kind of thing. Like, come on, like, let the guy back in. And, their comment to me is, why would we do that? Like, why do we have any need to do that? And I said, well, it was a joke, and they said, okay, but like, what is our benefit for letting him back in? And I mean, that's why, like, I think, like, for Sam, I was really surprised because the guy, like, literally, that's the only thing. He was well known and stuff like that, and and I get how that's a lot like different level than what Eden has
Yeah, I
done.
think that's more comparable to Helmuth saying, "I'm going to burn this place to the ground," than
Yeah,
this
that's
situation.
I think that's the problem that people have. It's like, how do you let Helmuth say that? I think that's a really good argument. Like, Helmuth
Hell
saying
yeah, it
that
is.
is way more crazy, and Helmuth saying that is very comparable to what Sam did, like, I mean, those are both safety things, right? Like, should be kind of almost a non-negotiable, but there definitely is a double standard, but it is their kind of thing, and the way they look at it is like, you know what is this person bringing to us, like, and that definitely weighs in the decision. So the idea that they would ban him, and that's why I was saying, like, just be careful. I mean, I tried to say it, so anyway.
Yeah, I get you, and I'm just hearing from what I heard. All those times he was asked to leave, they said his behavior was nowhere close to what you see in an average main event final table. It's just, I guess, people are a little more whatever about final tables for earlier events. It seems to be a different standard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that part of it is, you know, if you're standing there with a crowd and cheering on what's happening at the
Yeah.
table is different than standing there quietly and talking
No,
into a
Oh no, that was
space,
the
right?
first one. I'm talking. Well, sorry. I
ASG
didn't.
has a point there. It's not fair. It isn't fair, right? Like, it isn't this isn't some kind of system where they set up and they say, okay, there's this criteria to get banned and stuff like that. That's why I was saying, like,
Or even this
you
criteria
Right,
to
of
getting
course.
kicked out of a final table event. Like, like they seem to say it's okay to be like loud for the main event final table, but he can. I don't know what exactly. Nobody seems to know what he said to get kicked out just for cheering on Martin.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I had heard he was asked a couple times to get off his phone and things like that. And are these things individually like a thing of whatever? But like, my thing and why I wasn't surprised is because I've seen friends banned for things that I didn't think was fair, and they definitely have this kind of like two-tier system of like, this person brings stuff to us, this person doesn't,
Well, of course. But,
and
yeah, you got to be aware of your surroundings, right? You got to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on. And if somebody, and namely security, is asking you multiple times to change what you're doing, and don't, and you come back I mean, what do you expect them to do? How many times does security have to be called in before somebody says, okay, enough?
it
We're
is true
done.
though, like, what people do on the rail, like, there's been plenty of people that get drunk on the rail and are whatever, and there's this there it isn't a fair, quote, fair unfair system. It's like, they make a decision and they do it. I want to talk about, like, ASG. I don't know if you heard a couple days ago, I told about how my dad, he was on the rail during the main event, right? It's day one of the main event. And my dad, he would sit there for 15 hours if he, or stand there, right? Like, but the guy, he was elderly. And so when Jack walked by, I said, hey, Jack, can my dad get a chair? Because you can't usually sit in a chair on the rail for obvious reasons. And Jack said, hey, to the floorman, get this guy a chair, so nicely my dad got to sit down. So about 20 minutes go by and this guy walks by in a suit, and he says, sir, you can't sit here. And my dad's like, hey, Brian, and I go over, I said, sir, Jack said that it was okay. And the guy says, Jack isn't shit. He's like, I'm the head of security here. I say what goes. And I go, just in this tone, ASG. I said, okay, so that's fine. I can understand that. Uh, I thought that Jack was running it. Jack doesn't run this, like really aggressive at me. I said, okay, so if he was in a wheelchair, would that be okay? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, can somebody get him a wheelchair, because I know they have wheelchairs at the front desk, but it's a mile long walk. Like, I'm halfway through trying to explain this to the guy, and he says, one more word from you. And I'm like, I'm talking in this kind of tone, ASG, one more word and you're out of here. I'll ban your ass. And I was like, zip it, walk her over, sit down, like that guy. They don't have qualms about banning people. Like, I was shocked. I'm sitting there. I paid $10,000 to sit in this poker tournament, and this guy, I'm not even like raising my boy voice or getting aggressive. He didn't like that I was questioning him, and so he was fully ready to ban me right there. And that's why when that whole thing happened with at Bellagio, I said to you, and by the way, I don't feel good like being right about it, but like, that's why I said to him, like, hey, you got to be careful. Like, these people talk, like, who knows, like, his tone with the people, everybody agrees, like, and probably even he agrees, the tone with the people at Bellagio, like, not okay, right?
Oh yeah, if this was at an MGM property, I totally would understand why
Yeah,
whatever happened. Like, yeah.
I just don't think their threshold is as high as people think, and it just takes one you can say takes one mall cop to take what you said the wrong way, and
Well, and
you're going,
let's not forget that, we're what, 50 events in, over 100,000 in attendance, and they ain't got time for that. Like, they just don't have time for it. Like, either heed the warning, we've given you warnings, or don't. And, there are consequences for actions. And, I'm going to be honest with you. For the first time in what, 3 weeks, somebody DM'd me the other day and said, you need to listen to this show. He did it sober. I said, cool, because I have been with this situation since day one, because I am rooting for the underdog. I spent 3 weeks of my life trying to help this man succeed. So don't get it twisted, people. And so I was like, okay, I will take this person's recommendation. I will listen to it. I heard a humble Eden. I heard a
yeah, he's a
man
different guy.
I heard a man trying to make changes in his life, of which I've been encouraging since day one. I heard a man who was humbled, who was embarrassed, who was willing to apologize, not to everyone, but to at least the people that were in that room, that space that night. I heard somebody that finally was getting it. And I was like, cool, this is a positive, awesome, great things. Of course, when I woke up in the morning, I was like, where is this tweet coming from that we all know is a famous pinned tweet? And I'm not dragging anyone through the mud. I'm just trying to tell you from my point of view. So, any minions that are in here, don't twist my words. Um, but, I was surprised because I was like, wait a minute. That was such an honest space last night. Like, it was hard for me to read that tweet because, and everybody knows where I've been the last month on this whole subject. I don't want to talk about it. Why? Because it's a waste of my time. I have better things to do and talk about. I've had health issues. I have 2 children that have had health issues. And so, trust me, this bullshit is not my life. It may be some of your lives, but it's not mine.
So
And
did you
so,
hear the
anyway,
follow-up to that tweet, by the way, of what happened in Spaces after? Just curious.
well, let me just finish where I'm going with this. I actually reached out to people on Eden's behalf. Now, he'll never know that, and I don't give a shit if he ever finds out, quite honestly, because I do want the man to succeed. I do want him to get well, because he's a sick man in my eyes. He needs help with his drinking. Guess what? That's where I'm at with this whole situation. And anyone that thinks otherwise is just doesn't know me or who I am. And it's okay because I owe nobody an explanation. And guess what? It's okay. And all you little minions out there think you gather information and go back like a little kindergartner. You guys don't think we're on to you. Like, we don't care. Like, we have our
Yeah, it doesn't
opinions and
matter.
it's okay. And guess what? It's good. And so let's move on. Did you have a question, ASG, for me?
Well, I was just wondering if you knew about the follow up to it before all the kicked out of everything happened.
From that tweet.
Yeah,
Yes.
the follow up to that tweet.
Yeah. Yep, I've got messages about it.
Okay.
And
Well, I
I
was just
I
making sure
will
you knew.
tune in when Coco's running a space solo. I will tune in. Um, and so I did tune in to Coco's because I did want to hear the follow up.
Okay.
And then people told me about the other space that I don't want no part of. But anyway,
That's
yeah,
fine. And I
yeah.
just wanted to end with saying that if Daniel Negreanu had the clout that some people are claiming he did, then Jake and Ali would have not been playing.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, and I said it earlier, if somebody has that much power, that's a problem for me. It's a problem. And more rake is better is bullshit. And ban him from
No,
ban him from higher buy-ins, but he can play lower buy-ins is bullshit. So yeah, if somebody could, if anybody could call in a favor because of who they are and ban someone, it's not acceptable. It
well,
never will be
but
acceptable.
okay. So let's just say there's I don't know that the percentage is zero, but the idea that Daniel called somebody and was like, let's get Eden kicked out, like Daniel's busy with the World Series, like,
Exactly.
like he called in that night and did it and whatever, because he was like, I think that was the night that somebody won a bracelet, one of his buddies, Josh, I
It
think,
was
won
Sean
a
Josh
Deeb.
bracelet.
No,
Hardy.
it was
Yeah.
Sean Deeb, I think,
Oh,
when he
Sean
called
Deep.
in
Yep.
that time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
so they they went out partying and he wasn't focused on, but he's not focused on what Eden's doing,
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah,
not
he
at
was
all.
from the Knights winning the cup.
The Knights winning the cup, the
Yeah,
Stanley Cup.
he so he was in party mode. It wasn't WSOP, so that's why he did it there. Now, make no mistake about it. Like, Daniel's buddies with these people. He probably golfs with half the people
Of
that would make
course.
these decisions.
Of course.
So absolutely, he could pick up the
Well,
phone and talk to them, and they would listen. Listen, those people. By the way, everybody thinks like, those people don't listen to anyone. Like, if you walk up to Jack Effel and have an issue or whatever, he'll listen to you. Like, it doesn't mean
right.
that he's gonna
Right.
like, make a decision your way or whatever.
Right.
But it's not an accident that, like, every year, if you go back to 2005 was the first year. I think it was 2005 was the first year at the Rio. It was like a disaster. You walk out into the hallway, like, they didn't think to tell people not to smoke in these hallways that weren't meant for 400 people to light up. Like, it looked like a smoke bomb went off. Like, there was all kinds of crazy problems, and every year they would address the core problems and fix them, and
Right.
they and the only way they've done that is by listening to the people that are their customers. So they do listen to people, but there is
And they
definitely a
should, so
double
they could
standard.
they should listen to the customers because that's the only way things are going to evolve for the better for them as well as the customers. But if that it leads to certain customers having a say in this manner, it's not right. And believe me,
it,
I don't think
it's not
Daniel
right,
Brennan.
but it's not unusual either, Sherry.
Well,
Like, if
I let me.
a customer is paying me millions of dollars or whatever, and now a customer comes in that pays me thousands of dollars, like, I'm going to listen to the customer that has $1 million
Well,
on the line for me to lose more
of
than
course,
somebody
as
else.
well as their experience through the process.
Yeah.
But my point is that I and believe me, I have differed of opinions from Daniel for many years on many different subjects. But I have enough faith in him and his integrity to not believe that is something that's happened in this situation. And if you just look at all the facts, not, oh, we love this person and emotions, but look
Right.
at the facts. He had been, he's had several meetups with security. And, like I said, when is enough enough? And so, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, what are they supposed to do when they keep getting, having to address an issue?
Yeah.
And,
And I want to go back because maybe there it sounds like I'm supporting the idea that Daniel did something here. Not at all. Like that's not my thinking at
right.
all. I
No,
think it
right.
has very little to do with that. I think it's very naive to think that people at the WSOP don't know what's going on at other properties, and then kind of a hassle here, and like that attitude, like I said with Sam, it's like, why do we have to deal with this? How is
Right.
this
And
positive for us?
let's not forget that, these tournament directors and floors, they all know each other, they all chat with each other, go golfing. If they, you don't think that's, stuff that's being, pushed on social media for the last month is getting back to all of them, when it's a lot of stuff is negative, you're kidding yourself. They know. They may not be listening personally, but there are people here to listen on their behalf to report back.
Well,
So
it's a big liability to put on these events with thousands of people, and so I mean, that's why, like Sam says something like that, they know that it's ridiculous, but he's out, like that's just
Yeah.
the way that it goes. It sucks,
right.
but
And I want to be clear. If anything happened like that, it's disgusting. I would never support that in a million years, no matter who it is, because I don't think that there should be a player or a customer that should have that much pull. Those decisions should be made by those in charge, right? Now that doesn't mean, like Brian said, hey, you see Jack Effel, complain that he doesn't have the frozen strawberry daiquiris like Brian does, right? And it's okay. He wants to hear from you, right? But it's ultimately up to Jack to weigh out all the information and make a decision that's best for that business. And like Brian stated, liability is definitely one thing they're looking at, right? And what does this customer bring to us? And there's a lot involved, and I don't think it's just like it should be this or not, or I think
well,
there's just a lot there.
and it's a bureaucratic kind of system too. So the
Right.
idea that something happened yesterday too, that like whatever, or somebody went to them like yesterday, probably not. Probably, this is like an accumulation of things. That's the easiest answer to
And
them, and it's easy for us to sit here in the moment too. I agree with you, Sherry. Different guy, like when he's not drinking, like
yeah, 100%.
he is talented. Like
And
I would listen to him.
when we first started the shows, even before we started recording them, because we were, I recommended to him we didn't start off recording them because we were getting our feet wet, and I didn't think it would be good. It would be good radio, so to speak, right? And even though others that were involved were fighting me on that, I was like, it just makes sense to just do a few and then start recording. And even then, he wasn't, he wasn't drinking and going crazy on people, and then a few recordings in, he starts going crazy, and it's when alcohol came into the picture, and so I know the raw product. I was there for the start of it. So were so many others. We know the raw product, and it's a good raw product. But when somebody is not coachable, for lack of a better word, when you ask for people to support you and tell you and help you, and then they are, and then you can't receive the information for whatever reasons,
Well, and here's the thing, like maybe this will help him, that he, if he does want to do this, the way back is to, go through rehab, show that he's like not, volatile, and and then I would think that, assuming there isn't something that we don't know about that was said, um, you know, that is a different situation, where, you're not worried about him coming. Like, I don't think that he's threatened anybody. Let's put it that way. I don't think that he's threatened to burn the place down. I don't think he's done any of these things that really would set that into a permanent situation necessarily. It is,
Well,
it's
I
not easy to get unbanned, but
I think
but
the black cloud here is that he was banned elsewhere. I think that's the biggest thing against what the situation is, because he was
yeah,
banned
that's just
elsewhere.
What
And
I
again,
still think
how
it is.
many chances do you give before you say, okay, enough's enough?
Yeah,
what
that's
we
what I
say.
still think this is about. And then anyway, just to slightly change the subject,
Eh,
because this actually isn't about Eden, but just about banning from the series in general.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, even though I don't agree, I understand why they haven't banned Jake and Ali and Bryn. But I just saw somebody tweet that he made day 2 of the seniors event. I completely don't understand how they haven't banned him in the master.
well, it goes back to that law under the Constitution of the United States. Proven you
It,
got you're innocent until proven
Well,
guilty,
Men the
right?
Master has been proven guilty multiple
Yeah,
times.
but not in the
allegedly.
court of law.
Allegedly.
Not in the court of law. And so when
ASG, I don't know if you saw my response, but I did play with men a couple of years ago. And I was like, hey, dude, so what happened? Like, did you cheat, man? And he's like, that's all baloney. I didn't cheat. And I was like, I
oh,
believe you.
that's
I
hilarious.
believe you. There
Oh,
was no chips in my hotel room.
was he the
Didn't
guy
have a
flushing them
crew
down the
ship jumping
toilet?
to him.
I would say this though, like, somebody like that is being watched all the time, so some of this is um they haven't, like 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 the idea that, and it's really a problem, right? Like, if he cheats at whatever, then while those companies might talk about things, I don't know that they like share surveillance footage and talk about like all their internal kind of stuff. Um so I don't know, like, it's a
I
mystery to me.
just think, well,
I would love to see WPT and WSOP, you know be able to do some kind of investigation on their own, or take the word of reputable casinos or things like that to say, if you're one of these people, like, it's pretty absurd that pretty much everybody, if you ask privately, like, were they using RTA? Like, they're like, oh yeah, absolutely, so it's pretty absurd to then see them back at the World Series. And
Oh yeah, the guy
you know
who won the 250,000 event admitted to using pre-flop charts. Not that that's as bad as RTA, but like, it's still something that was against rules at the time. Like,
well, and I'm going to say to you, I go back to when I was there when they did the big, press rollout with the Poker Integrity Board last year. And so ASG brought up, banning these folks that are known cheaters. Well, the premise of that board was, this board is going to investigate somebody's, that has allegations against them. And once they make a decision, this whole list of operators were on, this backdrop behind, at the back of the press conference, the backdrop of it, and all of those operators were committed to whatever decision was made by the integrity board in reference to any player and cheating. They were going to, all of them, they were going to take the recommendations as to, whether the person, was guilty or whatever. And they were going to like apply the law of the, of the land, ban them, suspend them, whatever they saw fit. Well, you know, we can see just from those names you mentioned, ASG, that that's not happening because those three players are playing, right? And so, and I'm sure part of his legalities that they're trying to figure out how to make that work.
and
But
wasn't that tied up with GG? Like, wasn't
Well, it
GG
was
behind.
well, it was all of them. I mean, I can go back and find the
But
picture.
if
I
I
will for
call,
tomorrow.
this
I
is
will.
Sherry, this is the problem that I see as it, right? Like, let's say you and I are going to be the Players Advisory Council. Something goes on it. Well, let's take, Martin's situation there. So now we're going to walk into Caesars and we're going to say, Caesars, we want to see the decks. We want to do what? Like, they're not going to let us do anything. So, so that's what I'm wondering. Like, my understanding is that they were banned from GG, but is GG like
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
okay. So my understanding, and I'm gonna try to find the picture while we're on air here, but my understanding was that whatever the decision was about a player, it would apply the how do you say it? The lost for words, the punishment, so to speak, for lack of a better term. The punishment will be applied through all of those operators. So all of those operators will abide by the decision of this board and they will all apply the punishment. Now, does that mean one casino will suspend them for 3 months? Another one may ban them for their life? I don't know. I just know that what I heard that day, my interpretation was that they would take whatever the integrity board said and apply the punishment, so to speak. And
Did this
that was
board ever get
online.
formed? Like,
That
who's on?
was, I'm sorry.
Did this board ever get formed? Like, who's on it?
Yeah. Jason Kuhn and Feder Holtz is on it. And there's two others. I'd have to look it up. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with names, but those are the two big names, Feder and Jason Kuhn.
Yeah,
So
and my understanding is that, like, Ollie and those guys were pretty much like the catalyst,
exactly.
let's just say, for setting
Yeah.
this up. So, like, yeah, and honestly, like, with Jake, Jake busted me in really deep in, I can't remember, like a 2,500 buy-in at the World Series one year, and then the next year we had like this crazy hand that was awesome. I lost both hands, by the way, because whatever. But like, I really genuinely liked the guy. So hearing all that stuff was like really pissed me off, honestly. Like,
Well,
I
and
just
let's face it, because all of us are poker players and we could be accused at any moment. So we want to make sure that the rules and punishment are correct, right? We wanted the process to be correct, and we want it to be honest, and we want it to be substantial, and we want it to reflect um, that we do want integrity in the poker world, right? We don't want to tolerate cheating. And so for me, I think, although I have been disappointed the last year, I think that it's just an ongoing process that has lots of growing pains because there's a lot of legalities. And those legalities go across many borders to different countries and different laws, and so it's a lot involved. And think about that task to figure out, how do we do this and how do we apply this. And I'm going to tell you, these are online operators as well as live operators, card rooms. And so it's not an easy task, and it's not an overnight fix either. um and
I
I
mean, the
am
online guys
hopeful.
aren't talking to anybody either. So
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that it's a start, that this is the starting point. We have a long way to go, but at least it's a starting point.
Yeah, and
yeah,
FTWNF, my friend, he commented in the chat that like Daniel's at I don't know the exact words, but like at least at times petty and that kind of thing. So I definitely agree with the idea that Daniel is opinionated and speaks his mind. I just think that the guy is really busy during the WSOP, and has other things
that was
to
kind of my
focus
point.
on.
He's petty enough to leave Jake and Ali off of his fantasy options of what you can take as a player. So I think if he had that kind of pull, he would be using it to get these guys
Well,
out.
the fantasy thing is Daniel's thing. Like he
Right.
created
That's
it.
what I'm saying.
Right?
Like he
Yeah.
created it, so he's allowed to have his own rules over there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there, Jake and Ali are out.
Yeah. Yeah. They're banned. So
Well,
that's
but
funny.
but you know what? You guys are saying they should be banned, so Daniel banned them, and we can't complain about that. We got
Oh,
to
exactly.
embrace
That's
that
what
and
I'm
say,
saying.
great
Oh,
job.
that's exactly my defense. Is if he's able to ban Jake and Ali and have pull, then Jake and Ali would be banned on the WSOP.
By the way, it doesn't mean that somebody at the WSOP in the staff didn't hear him on Spaces, and you know, and that
Well,
maybe be a catalyst to it too.
I
But
think
like that's
I,
different than obviously Daniel putting a call in. I just don't think
I'm
that happened.
sorry if I've been missing. I've been trying to look for this picture, and this may have been your point as well, ASG. And I'm sorry if I missed it because I'm looking for this picture. But I think what you said is very, very important, and we should revisit it again. And that was, you know, he banned those players from his fantasy league, right? But those players are not banned from the WSOP. So if we think that he has so much pull that he could do that, then why aren't they banned? So,
Exactly.
and that proves the point that, not proves the point, but it gives you food for thought that he probably didn't do anything in this case either because he doesn't have the pull. So I'm just, I don't like to accuse people, A, that aren't here to defend themselves, or B, that we have any proof or facts. So, and I just have faith in Daniel. And believe me, I think he does get petty at sometimes, and disagree with a lot of things he says sometimes. But I also agree with a lot of things he says. And honestly, I just don't see him doing that. I just don't. So
Well,
thank you.
since he got away from Poker Stars and since he got married was a big change, I think, for him. I've agreed with a lot more. I feel like he's back to the original Daniel that I was a fan of when I
Yes.
first started playing. Like he's just that's why I don't know. And even if you even I think he was maybe on the Spaces, or at one point I heard recently, um, him talking about how he kind of like regrets, like,
Yes.
some of the things that he said, like back in the day about different people and stuff like that, and that he just wishes he would have let
Well,
stuff go a
everybody,
little easier.
you
I'm
know,
sorry, SG.
I said everybody has regrets.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect in everything they do all the time.
Amen.
And on a related note, I'm gonna sign off. But just because I root for Maximum Chaos, I want Eden to be the first player ever to win a baseball ban.
That would be epic.
I'm going to tell you something. I think it'd be funny as hell. And the other thing we have to think about in this situation, there's a big push right now to make the poker room, the poker table, more friendly for females, right? And to increase that, right now there's about 5% of the playing field of the WSOP last year was women, and that means 95% were men, right? And so we're trying to get more women to come from their home games to play in the card room. And so, when there are clips being circulated of this person blasting women, do you think these operators want to have any association with that? I mean, just food for thought, okay? Just food for thought.
But yeah, and I don't like, that's why I don't want to get into like specifics of he did this or that or whatever. It's just
Right.
like not like it's not surprising to me. It doesn't make me feel good that he's banned and all that. And
100%.
actually, Sherry, like I don't understand. So like I don't know. To me, they should have let him finish out this event or whatever. If they were going to let him play yesterday, right? Like they should have just let him play today, and finish out. So, um,
Well, I'm just going to say this. Everybody's sitting in judgment right now, but we really don't have all the details. We really don't. And we're hearing one side of it. We're surmising from what we've heard or seen over the last month, but really we don't have all the facts. And sometimes people want to blame others, and you know we just can't make a I don't think we can make that much of an informed decision only hearing one side of it and just having witnessed to little clips or whatever through the 3 weeks. So I
It
will
was
reserve.
I think that, like Rob saying last night, I think he said that he was banned at one point from MGM and got unbanned, um, and that it was due to some kind of like misunderstanding or something like that. That was surprising for me to see somebody that's been in that situation like be
Well,
shocked by it. Like it's just.
yeah.
I think a fair thing to say is, wow, this guy was just getting on his feet. This sucks. Like he was just and hopefully he wasn't going to go backwards from there, but like we were rooting for him, like he just couple days sober now, and hopefully this doesn't set him back and that kind of thing. ACP, what do you got?
What's up, guys? I'm just on.
Hey,
Hey, how are you, Sherry? Software.
good, thanks.
Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm outside. It's nice weather in Chicago, so
My
probably taking
favorite city.
a hat. Yeah, nice weather here. As you know, then Sherry is like you get over that winter depression,
Hell yeah, you
and
got that little breeze coming off the lake and the sun is shining.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm
Hell
actually
yes.
outside walking around in the sun right now, just embracing it. So, yeah, no, I traverse all these spaces, and I'm a huge fan of poker, casual fan of spaces, and it was that one point you made, Sherry. I was thinking about because it's in general the irony of like clips of Eden saying bad things. It's the people sharing them is actually the problem, more than you know the individual. Those are unredeemable comments, irredeemable. Sorry, that he made, and I cannot stand it. I cringe and usually turn off spaces when he goes off when he turns into demon rocks, whatever
Right.
you want to call it. But I'm still a fan of the circus tent concept. But man, the people sharing these things, it's just like social media and media over the
Well, but
years.
that
They
person's kind of defending themselves, don't you think?
wait, no. What I mean though is like when we talk about clips circulating,
Right.
they're taking clips from these spaces
Right.
and then sharing them to thousands and thousands of people.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So it's one thing to be mad at but really just like the oldest trick in the book to like let's say Eden's a troll in those demon rock moments. The
Right.
best way to get that stuff out of your mind is to ignore it, right? But
Well, I
if
guess
you
if
share it,
it's
yeah,
okay, I'm just going to stop you. I guess if it's not happening to you, that would be very easy. But I'm going to say to you that really the correct thing is the person should not be saying it to begin with. And then there would be nothing to post anywhere. So
He
that's where
does
the
have a
buck stops.
he does have a point. It's not like it like you're mad at the person, like they said something that's unacceptable, maybe even about you definitely have a right to share it and whatever, but you're not helping the situation by publicizing what was said
Well,
even further. Like,
well,
but i
and what
get i
was
get
what
both sides of that.
well, but what did I do from the start?
Right,
I
you just
did not I did not repost a thing.
right.
I did not and I shut it down when people came into our space, right? I took that road, right? Yeah, for
and
sure.
and I was really naive, honestly. Like, I heard the comments. I struggled with it for like a day or so, and then I decided, well, I'm gonna call in, and maybe I maybe I can like talk sense into the guy and have him like be somewhat apologetic or something. When I saw
Huge
that was,
mistake.
yeah, I was just done after that phone call. I was like, okay,
Poor naive Brian.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah,
I like to
Brian.
think the
Brian,
best
it's
for people,
exercise futility, man. Exercise and futility when
yeah.
someone's like in that
It's,
irrational state. That's why I just tune out or hang up, because it's
yeah.
like,
And I'm going
no
to tell
win.
you, We Pro will be the first to tell you that I have told her, just ignore it. Don't reach back out, because two wrongs don't make a right. Don't stoop to their level. But there's some point that it gets so ugly and mean that yeah, maybe somebody just needs to speak out to defend themselves and expose a person who's trying to make a name for themselves in a world that somebody else has been in for a long time. So there's yeah.
Yeah, and Sherry, I wasn't saying you're wrong. This is not a right or wrong situation. These are hard situations to navigate when you're looking at the totality. It was more about the idea of the sharing, that there's what, maybe two women in these spaces at a time, or three, whatever, volume wise, I don't know, percentage, but
There used to be more.
no, fair, no, totally, we're on the same, we're kind of saying the same thing. I was just trying to, maybe it's not a thing you can fix overnight, but sharing those clips, I've heard them, and then I see how many views they get, and it's 3,000x or
Times, yeah.
30,000x of what amount of people that heard it in the space and just went to sleep. So anyway,
Right.
that's it.
Thank you for your comments.
There is a reality of bringing awareness to stuff too, like, but it's a double-edged sword. I totally get it.
If you don't say it, it won't be out there.
PPE, you had an early night last night, caught some Z's. How are you doing, my friend?
I did actually. I had a really busy day during the daytime yesterday. I went to bed a little early today.
The life of a troll is hard.
What's that? Who? Oh, that guy. Well, I did want to keep it relevant to this show. You were just talking about the ironies of things, and what about the irony that Software said about 2 weeks ago on this show, and another one, I believe, that he didn't want to be around when he eventually gets kicked out of the World Series, and that was something that he did not want any part of. That was bound to happen, and he did not want to be a part of it. And Software is quite the psychic on this one.
Well, it's being around this for 2 decades. You've seen this time and time again with people, and that's why wasn't surprised. It is what it is, but I'm not surprised. So
Yeah, what's that? What do the kids say nowadays? They say, "Fuck around and find out."
yeah, yeah. And so, I mean, look, the good thing is, if there's nothing else that we've seen, the good thing for him is, if there isn't something that we don't know about that was said to like a security person or something, then there's probably very likely that if he was to demonstrate that he wasn't drinking and that kind of thing, that he'd probably be able to get the ban lifted after a period of time. I think it's a lot easier than somebody that's said some kind of safety thing, unless unless they look at it like some of the stuff when he's screaming at somebody, like the volatility, like that might concern them. But I
Well,
think
and
I
I
think
just keep
everybody knows the guy is a different guy when he's not drinking.
Well,
Like,
and I
so
just
if
think
he's
the
not
fact
drinking,
that he has been banned from another Caesar's property, I think that's going to hold a lot more weight than people think it's going to hold. Honestly, I think you're right. If it was just this last couple of weeks of stuff,
yeah,
I think it might be a 3 or 6 month banning, right? But we don't know what happened at that other property, and you know what? We don't have those answers.
And
So,
the other one's also not relevant to the situation.
well, and I don't disagree, but it does, it does pile on.
yeah. If I mean, the thing is, if I don't really know what happened with the other situation, so definitely it's not helpful. But but again, we all know the guy is a different guy when he's not drinking, and I think that's the key. If he was able to show that he's not drinking, I don't know. The other problem is like this attitude. I mean, like they've said it to me directly, like about Sam and Sam and my buddy Sam Pazika when I talk to him, because it's like, come on, like this guy, and they're just like, why how does that help us? Like, like why should we take the risk? So it is an uphill climb, but a perma ban doesn't necessarily always mean a perma ban.
Right. Right. 100%. Hey, you got to go through the appeal process and let them tell you no, because crazier things have happened. It's just, there's a lot we don't know. There's just a lot we don't know.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So I think
let's leave the we part out of it, though, please. Thank you.
The
well,
we. Yeah.
All right. I know you come in the room, and if you don't want to join us, that's fine. I just want Jimmy to know we're thinking and praying for you, your family, bud. Let us know if there's anything we can do.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't see the tweet yet, but we're always here. So.
And I also want to remind everyone about the celebration of life for Doyle Brunson is July the 2nd at 12 o'clock noon. Doors open at 11:30. It's at the Jubilee Theater in the Horseshoe, which only has a little bit more than 1,160 seats. It's first come, first serve, free of charge. July the 2nd, 12 noon.
All right. Well, that's it. Thanks, Sherry. Thanks, everybody. Poker Pro Eric, ACP, ASG, and
LMNOP, QRS, CUV. Thank you,
Oh
everybody.
no! Oh no!
I just recorded that. I'm gonna that one we should share. No, I'm just kidding.
Please do.
That's
Please
for the
do.
TJ Cookier account, I think.
Cookier.
TJ
Oh yeah,
Cookier.
that's
I
funny.
love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Just Google that. It's really old. That's an old. I don't even know why I put that. It's just a joke because it was so funny back in the day that it's like my only accomplishment in the poker world.
What? You were the OG. You're the OG troll, right?
No, the TJ Cookier thing you said. No,
Yeah.
it's not OG. It's not a troll. It was a TJ Cloutier. Do you remember that?
Yeah, there was an account.
Yeah, he's down in Florida. Yep.
Yeah, no, there was a cookie that looked like him. It was a chocolate chip cookie.
TJ Cookier.
Yeah, it was TJ Cookier. So I photoshopped them together.
That's hilarious.
And then so it was an old poker forum thing. It was like maybe 15 years ago. And I had it photoshopped together, reposted it on Pocket Fives, and then it went viral for like, I even got contacted by a poker magazine if they could use it back in the day. It's literally my only accomplishment in poker besides being a losing online or live player.
Oh.
So, yeah. Some other accomplishment is donating to everybody else. But anyways.
Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Good luck on the felt.
All
See
right.
you tomorrow.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care.